welcome back to another video. For today, I am going to be talking all about long distance relationships. I am going to be sharing how I got through a long distance relationship, some key things that Michael and I did to make it a successful journey in our life and to make the distance work, even though it is extremely difficult. So if that is where you currently find yourself in this season of life, or if that is something that you are interested for possibly sometime in the future and you're just wondering how you could make that happen, maybe you've tried it and it hasn't worked in the past and you're wondering how you can make it work in your new relationship, whatever the reason may be, I'm hoping that the tips I have for you guys today will help you to have a successful long distance relationship. Okay, so first things first, when I first started talking to Michael, I wanted to send him something special, and I wanted to send him specifically something in the mail that he was going to receive of me to feel my presence more physically, to feel like I was there somehow with him. So instead of just sending him something online, I really was set on sending him something in the mail. This isn't something that I wanted to just go out to the store and buy. I didn't just want to send him an ordinary gift. So I started looking online and I noticed that there was this popular thing that was called a care package. If you've never heard about it before, it is normally used between military couples. Care packages can be sent and can be made by anybody. So what I did, and I think is a great idea for you guys to try, is I just bought an ordinary box about a medium size and I decorated the outside. I also decorated the inner flaps pieces that you end up closing. I decorated those. I wrote things that were specific to him and I. So I wrote like 1 Corinthians 13 and 2 in 1 flesh, because I knew that those sayings were meaningful to us. So what I put in my care package is going to be completely different from what you put in yours. You can definitely get inspiration by looking up some online. I know there's some great ones just on Google Images, and there's awesome ideas also on Pinterest. Obviously, Pinterest is great for pretty much any DIY. That would be the #1 place that I suggest looking into. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I put in the box. So in the box, one of my favorite things that I made was I bought little envelopes. I made little love letters, and so the first letter I wrote open when ... and the other letters I wrote specific times when I intended for him to open. So you can write things like open when you are sad, open when you are stressed, when you are lonely, when you are having a bad day, when you're having a really good day, open when you can't sleep. I think those are really sweet and meaningful ideas, because then you are leaving that person messages that you have written from your heart that are meaningful to you and to them, and you are thinking of different scenarios that that person is potentially going to go through, and most of the time they are going to go through those experiences without you physically there because of the distance. If they can't sleep at night and for some reason they just can't get a hold of you, they can't get a hold of you through your phone, whatever it may be, they have that letter that you wrote for them that says open when you can't sleep at night. So he will open it, he will read what you have to say for him in that moment, and if you can't physically be there and he can't get a hold of you in another way, it is really sweet for him to feel your presence in that situation with him, to feel like you really are there for him. So I think those are really great because it's not just like sending one letter and that person reads it in that one moment and then they kind of move on. But having them receive all of those letters for different times in their life is going to be much more meaningful for them and is going to hopefully bring them joy and happiness to know that you thought of those potential possibilities, that you took the time to really want to be there for them and to show them that even though you may not be able to be there in person for this specific situation, that you wish you could be there and that you are trying to be there somehow. Another thing that I put in the care package was my pillowcase. So it was actually one of the pillowcases that I was using at the time. Now obviously I washed it for hygiene purposes, but what I also did was I sprayed a little bit of the fragrance that I was using at the time so that when he opened the box, he could be able to feel more of my presence, and every time that he would sleep, he would hopefully sleep with my pillowcase next to him, and it would help him to feel like I was right there next to him. I think that's a great idea if you guys want to do that. Send a pillowcase or send a blanket or something that you sleep with. It could be a teddy bear. I know that may sound weird depending on how old you are, but if you have just something that you like to sleep with that you would like to give them so that they can have with them every single day. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to customize the care package according to the person's personal interests. And another great thing is you can also make it a huge theme depending on what they like. So I didn't do this at the time, but if I were to send him a care package now, Michael is really into basketball. He loves all things basketball. That has been his #1 sport since he was a child. He actually has his own basketball channel that I will link in my description if you guys are interested and want to check that out. If I were to make him a care package, that is what I would make the theme around now. So I would include things that have to do with that would hopefully make him happy and make him realize that I am really putting effort into your interests to have you know how much I'm thinking of you. Some other things that I included that I thought he would like was I included little candles that had faith-related wordings on it. So one said believe, one said faith, and I was hoping that he would place it somewhere where he would see every day and think of me. I included some candy because I knew that he loves to eat candy. So I included one of his favorites, and I also included a typical Canadian chocolate bar because I wanted him to kind of feel like he was included in my life because I am in Canada and at the time he was in another country. If you are in 2 different countries and your country has a specific food, whether that be chocolate, candy, or maybe even chips, something like that, I feel like if you can somehow fit that in your care package, that would be really great for them to try. And I think if you guys can also try it on video call and share that experience with each other, that's really sweet as well. I actually got this idea from Pinterest, which was to include little kiss chocolates because I thought that idea was sweet. It's chocolate, so he can eat it and enjoy it, and also little kisses, which are supposed to signify, obviously, sending your significant other a kiss. So again, everything that you put in the box is going to be specific to what that person likes. It's going to look different for everybody, so that is up to you to choose and to have fun, to do it yourself and figure out exactly what you would like to send them. Something else that we did to help keep the spark alive and to help keep that fire burning and to help our love stay young and exciting, we would send love songs back and forth. So I believe that Michael is the one that came up with this idea and he started it, and I loved it. What he would do is he would randomly just send me a love song, and he would send me songs that male singers would sing, so that when I heard it, it felt like he was the one singing to me. And in return, I would then send him a love song back that a female singer would sing. We would also try our best to find songs that spoke about things that we were going through in that moment. So let's say if we were going through a disagreement or if we just had a really bad fight, I would specifically look for songs that were about saying I'm sorry and were about apologizing and letting them know that you love them and that you want to fix the problem and to work on your relationship. And he would also do the same. If it was an anniversary, we would send songs about anniversaries and sharing special moments together. This was also Michael's idea. I'm very thankful that he was always very thoughtful and romantic throughout our relationship. Instead of just writing out cute love messages over text, we would send cards on this website called 123 Greetings. I will link it in my description below if you guys want to check that out. We would send those back and forth, and it would be really sweet surprises to get those. And if you're going through tough times in your relationship, or you just want to let that person know that you're thinking about them and that you miss them, then sending an online greeting card, it was a great idea that worked for us. What also makes those special is that you can sometimes customize the cards. You can pick sometimes the song that goes along with it, or other ones have songs already attached to them. Another cute thing that we would do that has to do with the greeting cards was, instead of always reading them alone to yourself, we sometimes made sure to call each other and to read what we wrote out to the person over the phone so that they can view the card themselves, but then also hear our voice. Being distant from your significant other is definitely not easy, and it's not for everyone. It really does take a specific person to be able to first agree to go into a long distance relationship, and secondly, to actually be committed and stay dedicated to that person to actually make it through until the end, until you two are finally together and making a life together. You and that person really need to genuinely love each other and care about each other and really want to spend the rest of your life together, because ultimately you can do all of those things that I spoke about and you can do so much more. But when it comes down to it, if you really love that person and you want to be with them, you are going to do whatever it takes to make it work. I am a firm believer that if you want something bad enough, that you are going to go do it. So if you want to be with that person, then you are going to do whatever it takes to have a successful relationship, no matter what the distance is, whether you guys are in just another city or another state or a completely different country around the world, which was our situation. We were not just a quick drive to each other. So if that is your case, and especially if you are in a situation currently in your life where you can't see each other often, that you can't fly to each other as often as you would like or drive to each other, then you really need to put in the extra effort and the work needed to make it a successful relationship. If you are in a long distance relationship, you are going to have to do a lot more work than, say, the average relationship where people get to see each other whenever they want. To help you guys really feel connected and to build your bond stronger and to help your relationship grow, try your best to stay in communication every single day and as much of the day as you possibly can. I know that everyone's schedules are different, whether you go to school or whether you go to work. You really want to stay connected as much throughout the day as possible. So from the time you wake up to the time that you go to bed. And you really want to think of creative, unique ways to really immerse yourself in that person's life, especially if you are going through a season where you can't go see the person physically for a while, for a long period of time. You really want to do things to feel like you are actively living in their life day to day as if you were in person. So try to wake up with each other over the phone. Have a video call and sleep with each other over the phone. So when you're laying in bed, you can look at your phone and see the person there, and it will kind of feel like they are there next to you. You can have movie nights, date nights, have a movie together over a video call, share some snacks. It would be a really cute idea if you guys even ate the same snacks to feel like you are really enjoying the experience together as if you were right next to them. I would also say to eat meals together on video call, especially if one of you or both of you live alone. You don't necessarily want to have dinner alone, especially if you are in a relationship. So video call the person and share that meal together. My last tip would be to look online and figure out a way that you can customize a gift that you can give to the other person, and each of you will have one. So that can be couple bracelets or couple necklaces. You can each put your name on it with the date that you started dating or a message that is meaningful to you, and you can then send it to each other and wear it together. I'll actually link this below because I think that this is a really sweet idea that I don't see many people talking about. I actually don't see anybody mentioning it, and Michael is the one that found it, which is something called, I believe it's called the LoveBook. So you essentially create your own storybook. On their website, they have a bunch of different ideas and themes that you can do. You can pretty much make a book about any situation in your life, but for Michael and I, we wanted to create a love book about our relationship, about our love story. He made his and I made mine, and you get to pick everything. You get to fully feel like you are an author creating your own book, from the story cover to the story title, from every single page in the book. You get to create it from start to finish. You even create the characters, so you get to make the characters look like each one of you. And it's just a fun, silly way to share your love together and to surprise the person with a special story that you want to tell them. Michael wrote his book about how we met, our whole love story leading up into a certain point. And then what I did is my whole book was about all of the different ways that I love him. I would also say to always find ways to include God in your relationship, because he really is going to be the foundation of what holds your love together. So even if you are distant from each other, make sure to make the time to read scripture together and to pray together and to fast. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that these tips will be helpful for you. I hope that you can include them in your relationship. I hope that somehow my advice will help you guys to strengthen your long distance relationship and to make it a successful one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I just want to add that long distance relationships are extremely hard, and it may be hard right now as you're watching this, but the reward at the end is going to be far greater than the time that you two have spent apart. Missing out on true love and a lifetime of happiness is not worth losing over just being impatient or regarding how far you guys are. You may be looking at other couples that are physically together and you obviously want that, but being impatient over that is not worth losing your soulmate. So look at Michael and I now. We were separated for over 3 years, and we are now married with a child, and we are living the life that we had always seen for ourselves. And people said over and over again that we couldn't do it, but praise God, with his help, we did. So stick it out through the good and the bad. Distance makes your love grow stronger. It makes you appreciate that person much more. Don't let people tell you that you can't do it or that long distance never works, because it does work if you truly love that person. Distance means nothing if you love them. Everyone's love story is different, and a long distance story may just be yours to tell your grandchildren.